London Heathrow Airport or Heathrow is a major international airport serving London, England, known as London Airport from 1946 until 1965. Located in the London Borough of Hillingdon, in West London, Heathrow is the busiest airport in the United Kingdom and the fifth busiest airport in the world in total passenger traffic, handling more international passengers than any other airport around the globe. It is also the busiest airport in Europe by passenger traffic. Heathrow is London's main airport, having replaced RAF Northolt and the earlier Croydon Airport. The airport sustains 76,600 jobs directly and around 116,000 indirectly in the immediate area, and this, together with the large number of global corporations with offices close to the airport, makes Heathrow a modern aerotropolis which contributes an estimated 2.7% to London's total GVA. The airport is owned and operated by Heathrow Airport Holdings, which also owns and operates 3 other UK airports, and is itself owned by FGP Topco Limited, an international consortium led by the Spanish Ferrovial Group that includes Kestad Dar Copyright Party A Placement Duque Copyright Beck and Government of Singapore Investment Corporation. Heathrow is the primary hub for British Airways and the primary operating base for Virgin Atlantic. Heathrow lies 12 nautical miles west of central London, and has 2 parallel east to Euro-west runways along with 5 terminals on a site that covers 12.14 square kilometres. A consultation process for the building of a 3rd runway and a 6th terminal began in November 2007, and the project was controversially approved on January 15, 2009 by Labour government ministers. It was subsequently cancelled on May 12, 2010 by the Cameron government. The first phase of a new Terminal 2 complex which replaces the old terminal and adjacent Queen's Building opened on June 4, 2014. The airport holds a Civil Aviation Authority public use aerodrome licence, which allows flights for public transportation of passengers or for flying instruction. Location: Heathrow is 14 mi west of central London, near the south end of the London Borough of Hillingdon on a parcel of land that is designated part of the Metropolitan Green Belt. The airport is surrounded by the built-up areas of Harlington, Harmondsworth, Longford and Cranford to the north and by Hounslow and Hatton to the east. To the south lie Bedfont and Stanwell, while to the west Heathrow is separated from Colnbrook in Berkshire by the M25 motorway. Heathrow falls entirely under the Hounslow post town of the TW postcode area. As the airport is west of London and as its runways run east to Euro-west, an airliner's landing approach is usually directly over the conurbation of London when the wind is from the west. Along with Gatwick, Stansted, Luton, Southend and London City, Heathrow is one of 6 airports with scheduled services serving the London area, although only Heathrow and London City are within Greater London. History: for a chronicled history of Heathrow Airport, see History of London Heathrow Airport. Heathrow Airport started in 1929 as a small airfield on land southeast of the hamlet of Heathrow from which the airport takes its name. At that time there were farms, market gardens and orchards there. There was a Heathrow farm about where Terminal 1 is now, a Heathrow Hall, and a Heathrow House. This hamlet was largely along a country lane which ran roughly along the east and south edges of the present Central Terminals area. Development of the whole Heathrow area as a very big airfield started in 1944. It was stated to be for long-distance military aircraft bound for the Far East. But by the time the airfield was nearing completion, World War II had ended. The government continued to develop the airfield as a civil airport. Known as London Airport and later as Heathrow. Heathrow today. Heathrow Airport is used by over 90 airlines flying to 170 destinations worldwide. The airport is the primary hub of British Airways, and is a base for Virgin Atlantic. Of Heathrow's 69 million passengers in 2011, 7% were bound for UK destinations, 41% were short-haul international travellers and 52% were long-haul. The busiest single destination in passenger numbers is New York, with over 3.8 million passengers between Heathrow and JFK/Newark airports in 2011. The airport has 5 passenger terminals and a cargo terminal. In the 1950s, Heathrow had 6 runways, arranged in 3 pairs at different angles in the shape of a hexagram, with the permanent passenger terminal in the middle and the older terminal along the north edge of the field, and 2 of its runways would always be within 30 degrees of the wind direction. As the required length for runways is grown, Heathrow now has only 2 parallel runways running east-west. These are extended versions of the 2 east-west runways from the original hexagram. From the air, almost all of the original runways can still be seen, incorporated into the present system of taxiways. North of the northern runway and the former taxiway and aprons, now the site of extensive car parks, is the entrance to the access tunnel on the side of Heathrow's unofficial gate Guardian. For many years the home of a 40% model of a British Airways Concorde, GCONC, the site has been occupied by a model of an Emirates Airbus A380 since 2008. Policing of the airport is the responsibility of the Aviation Security Unit of the Metropolitan Police, although the Army, including armoured vehicles of the Household Cavalry, has occasionally been deployed at the airport during periods of heightened security. Full-body scanners are now used at the airport, and passengers who object to their use after being selected are not allowed to fly. These display passengers' bodies as a cartoon-style figure, with indicators showing where concealed items may be. The new imagery was introduced initially as a trial in September 2011 following complaints over privacy. Heathrow Airport has Anglican, Catholic, Free Church, Hindu, Jewish, Muslim and Sikh chaplains. There is a multi-faith prayer room and counseling room in each terminal, in addition to St. George's Interdenominational Chapel in an underground vault adjacent to the old control tower, where Christian services take place. The chaplains organize and lead prayers at certain times in the prayer room. Heathrow Airport has its own resident press corps, consisting of 6 photographers and 1 TV crew, serving all the major newspapers and television stations around the world. Most of Heathrow's internal roads are initial letter coded by area, N in the north, E in the east, S in the south, W in the west, C in the center. The original 1950s red brick control tower was demolished in early 2013 to enable access roads for the new Terminal 2 to be laid. The central terminal area, as it was named, was designed by Frederick Gibbard and opened in 1955. Air traffic control moved to a new control tower in 2007. Operations. Aircraft destined for Heathrow usually enter its airspace via one of 4 main reporting points: Bovingdon over Hertfordshire, Lamburn over Essex, Biggin Hill over Bromley and Ockham over Surrey. Each is defined by a VO, a radio navigational beacon. When the airport is busy, aircraft orbit in the associated hold patterns. These holding areas lie to the northwest, northeast, southeast and southwest of the London conurbation. Aircraft hold between 7,000 feet and 15,000 feet at 1,000-foot intervals. If these holds become full, aircraft are held at more distant points before being cleared onward to one of the 4 main holds. Air traffic controllers at Heathrow Approach Control then guide the aircraft to their final approach, merging aircraft from the 4 holds into a single stream of traffic, sometimes as close as 2.5 nautical miles apart. Considerable use is made of continuous descent approach techniques to minimize the environmental effects of incoming aircraft, particularly at night. Once an aircraft is established on its final approach, control is handed over to Heathrow Tower. When runway alternation was introduced, aircraft generated significantly more noise on departure than when landing, so a preference for westerly operations during daylight was introduced, which continues to this day. In this mode, aircraft depart towards the west and approach from the east over London, thereby minimizing the impact of noise on the most densely populated areas. Heathrow's 2 runways generally operate in segregated mode, whereby arriving aircraft are allocated to one runway and departing aircraft to the other. To further reduce noise nuisance to people beneath the approach and departure routes, the use of runways 27R and 27L is swapped at 15 o'clock each day if the wind is from the west. When landings are easterly there is no alternation. 09L remains the landing runway and 09 are the departure runway due to the legacy of the now rescinded Cranford Agreement, pending taxiway works to allow the roles to be reversed. Occasionally, landings are allowed on the nominated departure runway, to help reduce airborne delays and to position landing aircraft closer to their terminal, reducing taxi times. Nighttime flights at Heathrow are subject to restrictions. Between 23:00 and 07:00, the noisiest aircraft cannot be scheduled for operation. In addition, during the night quota period there are 4 limits: a limit on the number of flights allowed, a quota count system which limits the total amount of noise permitted, but allows operators to choose to operate fewer noisy aircraft or a greater number of quieter planes. QC/4 aircraft cannot be scheduled for operation. A voluntary agreement with the airlines that no early morning arrivals will be scheduled to land before 04:30. A trial of noise relief zones ran from December 2012 to March 2013, which concentrated approach flight paths into defined areas compared with the existing paths which were spread out. The zones used alternated weekly, meaning residents in the no-fly areas received respite from aircraft noise for set periods. However, it was concluded that some residents in other areas experienced a significant disbenefit as a result of the trial and that it should therefore not be taken forward in its current form. Regulation. Until it was required to sell Gatwick and Stansted airports, Heathrow Airport Holdings held a dominant position in the London aviation market, and has been heavily regulated by the Civil Aviation Authority as to how much it can charge airline to land. The annual increase in landing charge per passenger was capped at inflation -3% until April 1, 2003. From 2003 to 2007 charges increased by inflation plus 6.5% per year, taking the fee to £9.28 per passenger in 2007. In March 2008, the CAA announced that the charge would be allowed to increase by 23.5% to £12.80 from April 1, 2008, and by inflation plus 7.5% for each of the following 4 years. In April 2013, the CAA announced a proposal for Heathrow to charge fees calculated by inflation -1.3%, continuing until 2019. Whilst the cost of landing at Heathrow is determined by the CAA and Heathrow Airport Holdings, the allocation of landing slots to airlines is carried out by Airport Coordination Limited. Until 2008, air traffic between Heathrow and the United States was strictly governed by the country's bilateral Bermuda II Treaty. The treaty originally allowed only British Airways, Pan Am and TWA to fly from Heathrow to the U.S. In 1991, PAA and TWA sold their rights to United Airlines and American Airlines respectively, while Virgin Atlantic was added to the list of airlines allowed to operate on these routes. The Bermuda bilateral agreement conflicted with the right of establishment of the United Kingdom in relation to its EU membership, and as a consequence the UK was ordered to drop the agreement in 2004. A new Open Skies agreement was signed by the United States and the European Union on April 30, 2007 and came into effect on March 30, 2008. Since then, additional U.S. airlines including Continental, U.S. Airways and Delta have started services to Heathrow. The airport has been criticized in recent years for overcrowding and delays. According to Heathrow Airport Holdings, Heathrow's facilities were originally designed to accommodate 55 million passengers annually. The number of passengers using the airport reached a record 70 million in 2012. In 2007 the airport was voted the world's least favorite, alongside Chicago O'Hare in a TripAdvisor survey. However, the opening of Terminal 5 in 2008 has relieved some pressure on terminal facilities, increasing the airport's terminal capacity to 90 million passengers per year. A tie-up is also in place with McLaren Applied Technologies to optimize the general procedure, reducing delays and pollution. With only 2 runways, operating at over 98% of their capacity, Heathrow has little room for more flights, although the increasing use of larger aircraft such as the Airbus A380 will allow some increase in passenger numbers. It is difficult for existing airlines to obtain landing slots to enable them to increase their services from the airport, or for new airlines to start operations. To increase the number of flights, Heathrow Airport Holdings has proposed using the existing 2 runways in mixed mode whereby aircraft would be allowed to take off and land on the same runway. This would increase the airport's capacity from its current 480,000 movements per year to as many as 550,000 according to British Airways CEO Willie Walsh. Heathrow Airport Holdings has also proposed building a 3rd runway to the north of the airport, which would have significantly increased traffic capacity. Terminals. Terminal 1. Terminal 1 opened in 1968 and was formally inaugurated by Queen Elizabeth II in May 1969. Before Terminal 5 opened, Terminal 1 was the base for British Airways' domestic network from Heathrow and for a few of its long-haul routes. In 2005, a substantial redesign and redevelopment of the terminal saw the opening of the new eastern extension, doubling the size of the departure lounge and creating additional seating as well as retail space. With an area of 74,601 am2, the terminal is home to Ireland's Aer Lingus, and several Star Alliance airlines. Since the buyout of British Midland International, British Airways serves some short-haul and medium-haul destinations from this terminal. Some of the newer boarding gates used by airlines present in Terminal 1 are numbered in Terminal 2. Those recently built gates will be retained as part of the new Terminal 2 after Terminal 2 officially opens. A temporary connector is in place between the older Terminal 1 and the new gates. Terminal 1 will be closed by the end of 2016 once all airlines have moved to other Heathrow terminals. Terminal 2. Terminal 2 opened to passengers on June 4, 2014. The main terminal, officially known as the Queen's Terminal, was built on the site of the original Terminal 2 and the Queen's Building. The development was originally named Heathrow East Terminal, and was designed by Luis Vidal Plas Architects. The main Terminal 2 building was completed in November 2013 and underwent 6 months of testing prior to opening for passengers. The project includes the main Terminal 2 building, a 522-meter satellite pier, a 1,340-space car park and an energy center and cooling station. Passengers can choose from a selection of 52 shops and 17 bars and restaurants. The terminal will be used by all 23 Star Alliance members currently operating at Heathrow, as well as Aer Lingus, Little Red and Germanwings. The airlines will move from their current terminals in phases over a period of 6 months with only 10% of flights operating in the first 6 weeks to avoid the opening challenges witnessed at Terminal 5. The original Terminal 2 building was the airport's oldest terminal, opening as the Europa building in 1955. It had an area of 49,654 square meters and was designed to handle around 1.2 million passengers annually. In its final years of operation it often accommodated around 8 million. A total of 316 million passengers passed through the terminal in its lifetime. The terminal was demolished in 2010, and the site was combined with that of the Queen's Building to form the new site. Terminal 3. Terminal 3 opened as the Oceanic Terminal on November 13, 1961 to handle flight departures for long-haul routes. At this time the airport had a direct helicopter service to central London from the gardens on the roof of the terminal building. Renamed Terminal 3 in 1968, it was expanded in 1970 with the addition of an arrivals building. Other facilities added included the UK's first moving walkways. In 2006, the new £105 a million Pier 6 was completed to accommodate the Airbus A380 Super Jumbo. Singapore Airlines, Emirates and Qantas now operate regular flights from Terminal 3 using the Airbus A380. These 3 airlines have nearly a dozen daily A380 flights. Redevelopment of Terminal 3's forecourt through the addition of a new 4-lane drop-off area and a large pedestrianised plaza, complete with canopy to the front of the terminal building, was completed in 2007. These improvements were intended to improve passengers' experiences, reduce traffic congestion and improve security. As part of this project, Virgin Atlantic was assigned its own dedicated check-in area, known as Zone A, which features a large sculpture and atrium. The terminal is due to be demolished after the second phase of Terminal 2 is completed on the site of Terminal 1 that is due to close and be demolished in 2016. As of 2013, Terminal 3 has an area of 98,962 am2 and in 2011 handled 19.8 million passengers on 104,100 flights. Terminal 4. Opened in 1986, Terminal 4 is situated to the south of the southern runway next to the cargo terminal and is connected to Terminals 1, 2 and 3 by the Heathrow Cargo Tunnel. The terminal has an area of 105,481 am2 and is now home to the SkyTeam Alliance, as well as some unaffiliated carriers. It has recently undergone a £200 million upgrade to enable it to accommodate 45 airlines with an upgraded forecourt to reduce traffic congestion and improve security. An extended check-in area with renovated piers and departure lounges, a new baggage system installed as well as the construction of 2 new stands to accommodate the Airbus A380 with Malaysia Airlines operating regular A380 flights. Terminal 5. Terminal 5 lies between the northern and southern runways at the west end of the Heathrow site and was opened by Queen Elizabeth II on March 14, 2008, some 19 years after its inception. It opened to the public on March 27, 2008. The first passenger to enter Terminal 5 was a UK expat from Kenya who passed through security at 4:30 on the day to be presented with a boarding pass by the British Airways CEO Willie Walsh for the first departing flight, BA 302 to Paris. During the 2 weeks after its opening, operations were disrupted by problems with the terminal's IT systems, coupled with insufficient testing and staff training, which caused over 500 flights to be cancelled. Until March 2012, Terminal 5 was exclusively used by British Airways as its global hub. However, because of the merger, on March 25 Iberia's operations at Heathrow were moved to the terminal, making it the home of International Airlines Group. Built at a cost of £4.3 billion, the new terminal consists of a 4-storey main terminal building and 2 satellite buildings linked to the main terminal by an underground people mover transit system. The second satellite includes dedicated aircraft stands for the Airbus A380. It became fully operational on June 1, 2011. The main terminal building has an area of 300,000 square meters while Concourse B covers 60,000 square meters. It has 60 aircraft stands and capacity for 30 million passengers annually as well as more than 100 shops and restaurants. A further building, designated Concourse D and of similar size to Concourse E, may yet be built to the east of the existing site, providing up to another 16 stands. Following British Airways' merger with Iberia, this may become a priority since the newly combined business will require accommodation at Heathrow under one roof to maximise the cost savings envisaged under the deal. A proposal for Concourse D featured in Heathrow's most recent capital investment plan. The transport network around the airport has been extended to cope with the increase in passenger numbers. A dedicated motorway spur links the M25 between junctions 14 and 15 to the terminal, which includes a 3,800-space multi-storey car park. A more distant long-stay car park for business passengers is connected to the terminal by a personal rapid transit system, which became operational in spring 2011. New branches of both the Heathrow Express and the Underground's Piccadilly line serve a new shared Heathrow Terminal 5 station. Cargo Terminal. Heathrow's cargo terminal is located south of the runways, towards the west. It was built in or soon before 1968. The cargo tunnel connects it to Terminals 1, 2 and 3, with the Western Tug Road connecting it to Terminal 5. Stands 607, 608 and 609, as well as the Zulu cul-de-sac, are the main areas used for the dedicated cargo flights. In 1948 the area was still farm or market garden land around Eglantine Cottage. Airlines and destinations, passenger terminal moves and rearrangements, current terminal assignments. Following the opening of Terminal 5 in March 2008, a hugely complex program of terminal moves was implemented. This saw many airlines move so as to be grouped in terminals by airline alliance as far as possible. However, the process was complicated by the acquisition of Star Alliance member BMI by Oneworld member British Airways, The transfer of Continental Airlines from SkyTeam to Star Alliance prior to its merger with United Airlines, and formerly non-aligned carriers such as EVA Air and Malaysia Airlines joining alliances. As of June 2014, the terminals are assigned to airline alliances as follows: Terminal 1, Star Alliance, plus EGLL and some British Airways destinations; Terminal 2, Star Alliance plus Aer Lingus; Terminal 3, Oneworld and Star Alliance as well as Virgin Atlantic and some Delta Airlines destinations; Terminal 4, SkyTeam; Terminal 5, British Airways and Iberia. Non-aligned airlines operate from Terminals 1, 3 and 4. Virgin Atlantic's domestic flights operate from Terminal 1. Scheduled terminal moves: following the opening of Phase 1 of the new Terminal 2 in June 2014, all Star Alliance member airlines will relocate there in a gradual process. All British Airways services will be moved to Terminals 3 and 5. Terminal 1 will then be gradually demolished to make way for Phase 2 of the new Terminal 2, with all airlines operating from Terminal 1 moving to other terminals by October 22, 2014. EGLL and EASA all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 on July 23, 2014. Air New Zealand all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 on October 22, 2014. ASIAN all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 on October 22, 2014. Austrian Airlines all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 on October 1, 2014. British Airways Barcelona flights move from Terminal 5 to Terminal 3 and Belfast and Dublin flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 5 on October 26, 2014. Brussels Airlines all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 on October 15, 2014. Croatia Airlines all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 on October 22, 2014. Egypt Air all flights move from Terminal 3 to Terminal 2 on October 22, 2014. EGLL all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 4 on October 26, 2014. Ethiopian Airlines all flights move from Terminal 3 to Terminal 2 on September 17, 2014. Germanwings all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 on October 8, 2014. LOT Polish Airlines all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 on October 22, 2014. Lufthansa all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 on October 1, 2014. Scandinavian Airlines all flights move from Terminal 3 to Terminal 2 on September 10, 2014. Singapore Airlines all flights move from Terminal 3 to Terminal 2 on September 17, 2014. South African Airlines all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 on October 22, 2014. Swiss all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 on October 15, 2014. TAP Portugal all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 on October 22, 2014. Thai Airways and all flights move from Terminal 3 to Terminal 2 on August 28, 2014. Transaero and all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 4 on October 26, 2014. Turkish Airlines all flights move from Terminal 3 to Terminal 2 on August 28, 2014. Virgin Atlantic Little Reader all flights move from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 on September 10, 2014. The move details for the other airlines at Terminals 1 and 3 have not yet been released. Upon completion, once the moves are complete, the terminal assignments are expected to be as follows: Terminal 2, Star Alliance, plus Aer Lingus, Germanwings and Virgin Atlantic Little Red; Terminal 3, Oneworld, Virgin Atlantic, Delta and some non-aligned airlines; Terminal 4, SkyTeam, plus most non-aligned airlines; Terminal 5, British Airways and Iberia. Cargo. Other facilities. The head office of Heathrow Airport Holdings is located in the Compass Centre by Heathrow's Northern Runway, a building that previously served as a British Airways flight crew centre. The World Business Centre Heathrow consists of buildings 1 and 2. One World Business Centre houses offices of Heathrow Airport Holdings, Heathrow Airport itself, and Scandinavian Airlines. International Airlines Group has its head office in 2 World Business Centre. At one time the British Airways head office was located within Heathrow Airport at Speedbird House before the completion of Waterside, the current BA head office in Harmondsworth, in June 1998. To the north of the airfield lies the Northern Perimeter Road, along which most of Heathrow's car rental agencies are based, and Bath Road, which runs parallel to it, but outside the airport campus. This is nicknamed by locals as the Strip owing to its continuous line of airport hotels. Traffic and statistics. Although Heathrow Airport Holdings claims that Heathrow is the world's busiest international airport, in 2011 it ranked third busiest by total passenger traffic, after Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport and Beijing Capital International Airport, which are both international airports. However, Heathrow does have the highest number of international passengers. In 2011, Heathrow was the busiest airport in Europe in total passenger traffic, with 13.9% more passengers than Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport and 23.0% more than Frankfurt Airport. However, it was in second place behind Charles de Gaulle in total aircraft movements in 2011 with 5.1% fewer landings and takeoffs than its French counterpart. Heathrow was the third busiest European airport by cargo traffic in 2013, after Paris Charles de Gaulle and Frankfurt. Busiest routes, annual passenger numbers, access, public transport, train. Heathrow Express, a non-stop service direct to London's Paddington Station. Trains leave every 15 minutes for the 15-minute journey. Trains depart from Heathrow Terminal 5 Station or Heathrow Central Station. A Heathrow Express transfer service operates between Terminal 4 and Heathrow Central to connect with services from London and Terminal 5. Heathrow Connect, a stopping service to Paddington calling at up to 5 national rail stations en route. Trains leave every 30 minutes for the 27-minute journey. Heathrow Connect services terminate at Heathrow Central Station. London Underground, 4 stations serve the airport. Terminals 1, 2, 3. Terminal 4. Terminal 5 serves the passenger terminals. And Hatton Cross the maintenance areas. The usual journey time from Heathrow Terminals 1 and 3 station to central London is around 50 minutes. South West Trains has a direct bus transfer to Feltham Railway Station, allowing passengers to board a train towards Reading or Windsor or Clapham Junction and Waterloo Station. Bus and coach. Many buses and coaches operate from the large Heathrow Airport's central bus station serving Terminals 1 and 3, and also from bus stations at Terminals 4 and 5. Services include the following: long-distance coach services operated by National Express and Oxford Bus Company to various parts of the UK, including Victoria Coach Station in London. Hotel hopper buses connect each terminal with hotels in the Heathrow area. There are 2 Rail Air coach services connecting nearby railway stations with the airport using dedicated non-stop coaches and running to Reading Railway Station, connecting with railway services to the West Country, South Wales, Midlands, the north of England and the south coast of England. Woking Railway Station, for destinations in Surrey, Hampshire, Dorset and Wiltshire, a connection to Feltham Railway Station. 4. Richmond, Camberley, Bracknell, London Waterloo and Clapham Junction, using London Buses Route 285. Express bus services to Watford, St Albans and Harlow, Croydon and High Wycombe, local bus services by London Buses, First Berkshire and the Thames Valley and other companies to nearby towns and London suburbs. Night Bus N9 operates to central London at night when the trains do not operate. Between 1981 and 2004, the airport was linked to central London by a group of routes known as Airbus. These routes carried A prefixes before their numbers. One route, A10, operates with such a number to Uxbridge. Interterminal transport, Terminals 1 and 3 are within walking distance of each other. Transfers to Terminal 4 and 5 are by Heathrow Express trains or bus. Heathrow Express and Heathrow Connect services between Heathrow Central and Terminals 4 and 5 are free of charge. Normal fare rules apply to London Underground services between terminals. Local buses throughout the airport area are provided free of charge under the Heathrow Free Flow scheme. Passengers should tell the driver their destination to ensure they are not charged a fare. Transit passengers remaining airside are provided free dedicated transfer buses between terminals. Ultra-personal rapid transport opened in April 2011 to shuttle passengers to and from Terminal 5 at a speed of up to 40 km/h. The initial trial had 18 pods running. Ultra are small transportation pods that can fit 4 adults, 2 children, and their luggage and carry passengers directly to the terminal. The pods are battery-powered and are used on a 4-kilometre track. If the trial is successful, there are plans for a rollout airport-wide. The capsules run on demand. The provider claims a 95% availability rate and no accidents so far. Taxis are available at all terminals. Car. Heathrow is accessible via the nearby M4 motorway or A4 road, the M25 motorway, and the A30 road. There are drop-off and pick-up areas at all terminals and short and long-stay multi-storey car parks. There are further car parks, not run by Heathrow Airport Holdings, just outside the airport. The most recognisable is the National Car Parks facility, although there are many other options. These car parks are connected to the terminals by shuttle buses. 4 parallel tunnels under the northern runway connect the M4 motorway and the A4 road to terminals 1 and Euro 3. The 2 larger tunnels are each 2 lanes wide and are used for motorised traffic. The 2 smaller tunnels were originally reserved for pedestrians and bicycles. To increase traffic capacity, the cycle lanes have been modified to each take a single lane of cars, although bicycles still have priority over cars. Pedestrian access to the smaller tunnels has been discontinued, with the free bus services being used instead. Bicycle. There are bicycle routes to some of the terminals. Free bicycle parking places are available in car parks 1 and 1A, at Terminal 4, and to the north and south of Terminal 5's Interchange Plaza. Accidents and incidents. On March 3, 1948, Sabina Douglas DC-300AWH crashed in fog. 3 crew and 19 of the 22 passengers on board died. On October 31, 1950, BEA Vickers Viking GAHPN crashed at Heathrow after hitting the runway during a go-around. 3 crew and 25 passengers died. On August 1, 1956, XA-897, an Avro Vulcan strategic bomber of the Royal Air Force, crashed at Heathrow after an approach in bad weather. The Vulcan was the first to be delivered to the RAF, and was returning from a demonstration flight to Australia and New Zealand. The pilot and co-pilot ejected and survived, but the 4 other occupants were killed. On January 7, 1960, Vickers Viscount GAOHU of BEA was damaged beyond economic repair when the nose wheel collapsed on landing. A fire then developed and burnt out the fuselage. There were no casualties among the 59 people on board. On October 27, 1965, BEA Vickers Vanguard GAPEE, flying from Edinburgh, crashed on runway 28 while attempting to land in poor visibility. All 30 passengers and 6 crew on board died. On April 8, 1968, BOAC Flight 712 Boeing 707 GARWE, departing for Australia via Singapore, suffered an engine fire just after takeoff. The engine fell from the wing into a nearby gravel pit in Staines, before the plane managed to perform an emergency landing with the wing on fire. However, the plane was consumed by fire once on the ground. 5 people Euro 4 passengers and a stewardess Euro died, while 122 survived. Barbara Harrison, a flight attendant on board who helped with the evacuation, was posthumously awarded the George Cross. On July 3, 1968, the port flap operating rod of GAMAD, an airspeed ambassador operated by BKS Air Transport, failed due to fatigue, thereby allowing the port flaps to retract. This resulted in a rolling movement to port which could not be controlled during the approach, causing the aircraft to contact the grass and swerve towards the terminal building. It hit 2 parked British European Airways Hawker Siddeley Trident aircraft, burst into flames and came to rest against the ground floor of the terminal building. 6 of the 8 crew died, as did 8 horses on board. Trident GARPT was written off, and Trident GARPI was badly damaged, but subsequently repaired, only to be lost in the Staines crash in 1972. On January 22, 1970, Vickers Viscount GAWXI of British Midland was damaged beyond economic repair when an engine caught fire on takeoff. A successful emergency landing was made at Heathrow. On June 18, 1972, Trident GARPI, operating as BEA 548, crashed in a field close to the Crooked Billet Public House, Staines, 2 minutes after taking off. All 118 passengers and crew on board died. On December 8, 1996, a KLM Cityhopper Fokker 50, PHKVK, operating as KLM 483 from Rotterdam, suffered a main gear collapse after landing on runway 09R. The aircraft's touchdown was normal, right man heel first. About 5 seconds after all the landing gear were in ground contact, the left main landing gear collapsed and the aircraft left wing tip, left propeller and the rear left portion of the fuselage contacted the runway. The aircraft veered to the left, coming to rest on the hard surface clear of the runway in Block 81. On November 5, 1997, a Virgin Atlantic Airbus A340-300, GVSKY, made an emergency landing following an undercarriage malfunction. Part of the undercarriage collapsed on landing, and both aircraft and runway were damaged. Recommendations made as a result of the accident included one that aircraft cabin door simulators should more accurately reproduce operating characteristics in an emergency, and another that cockpit voice recorders should have a 2-hour duration in aircraft registered before April 1998. On January 17, 2008, a British Airways Boeing 777-236ER, GYMMM, operating flight BA 038 from Beijing, crash-landed at Heathrow. The aircraft landed on grass short of the south runway, then slid to the edge of the runway and stopped on the threshold, leading to 18 minor injuries. The aircraft was later found to have suffered loss of thrust caused by fuel icing. Terrorism and security incidents. On June 8, 1968, James L. Ray, the man convicted of the assassination of Martin Luther King, Jr., was captured and arrested at Heathrow Airport while attempting to leave the United Kingdom on a false Canadian passport. On May 19, 1974, the IRA planted a series of bombs in the Terminal 1 car park. 2 people were injured by the explosions. On November 26, 1983, the Brinks MAT robbery occurred, in which 6,800 gold bars worth nearly £26 a million were taken from a vault near Heathrow. Only a small amount of the gold was recovered, and only 2 men were convicted of the crime. On April 17, 1986, Semtex explosives were found in the bag of a pregnant Irish woman attempting to board an LL flight. The explosives had been given to her by her Jordanian boyfriend and father of her unborn child Nza Hindoui. The incident became known as the Hindoui Affair. On December 21, 1988, Pan Am Flight 103 from Heathrow to New York JFK was blown up over Lockerbie, Scotland, killing all 259 aboard and 11 other people on the ground. In 1994, over a 6-day period, Heathrow was targeted 3 times by the IRA, which fired 12 mortars. Heathrow was a symbolic target due to its importance to the UK economy, and much disruption was caused when areas of the airport were closed over the period. The gravity of the incident was heightened by the fact that the Queen was being flown back to Heathrow by the RAF on March 10. In March 2002, thieves stole $3 million that had arrived on a South African Airways flight. In February 2003, the British Army was deployed to Heathrow along with 1,000 police officers in response to intelligence reports suggesting that al-Qaeda terrorists might launch surface-to-air missile attacks at British or American airliners. On May 17, 2004, Scotland Yard's flying squad foiled an attempt by 7 men to steal £40 a million in gold bullion and a similar quantity of cash from the Swissport warehouse at Heathrow. On August 10, 2006, the airport became the focus of changes in security protocol, following the revelation of a supposed al-Qaeda terrorist plot. New security rules were put in force immediately, causing additional restrictions in regards to carrying liquids onto flights. This caused longer queues and wait times at security. These included the prohibition of carry-on luggage and all liquids although this rule was later relaxed to allow the carrying board of liquid medications and baby milk, if they were tasted first by passengers at the security checkpoint. On February 25, 2008, Greenpeace activists protesting against the planned third runway managed to cross the tarmac and climb atop a British Airways Airbus A320, which had just arrived from Manchester Airport. At about 9:45 Greenwich Mean Time, the protesters unveiled a banner, saying "Climate Emergency, no third runway," over the aircraft's tailfin. By 11 Greenwich Mean Time, 4 arrests had been made. On March 13, 2008, a man with a rucksack scaled the perimeter fence onto runway 27R, and ran across the grounds, resulting in his subsequent arrest. A controlled explosion of his bag took place, although nothing suspicious was found, and the Metropolitan Police later said that the incident had not been terrorism-related. Other incidents: flights from Heathrow were suspended from midday Thursday 15 April 2010 to 22:00 Tuesday 20 April 2010 due to risk of jet engines being damaged by volcanic ash in the upper atmosphere caused by the eruption of EGLL, a larger paragraph coal in Iceland. On December 18, 2010, heavy snowfall caused the closure of the entire airport, causing one of the largest incidents at Heathrow of all time. 4,000 flights were cancelled over 5 days and 9,500 passengers spent the night at Heathrow on December 18 following the initial snowfall. The problems were caused not only by snow on the runways, but also by snow and ice on the 198 parking stands which were all occupied by aircraft. On July 12, 2013, an Ethiopian Airlines Boeing 787 Dreamliner parked at Heathrow Airport caught fire. There were no passengers aboard and no injuries. The cause is under investigation. Future expansion, runway and terminal expansion. In January 2009, the Transport Secretary Jeff Hoon announced that the UK government supported the expansion of Heathrow by building a third 2,200-metre runway and a sixth terminal building. This decision followed the 2003 White Paper on the Future of Air Transport in the UK, and a public consultation in November 2007. This was a controversial decision which met with widespread opposition because of the expected greenhouse gas emissions, impact on local communities, as well as noise and air pollution concerns. Before the 2010 general election, the Conservative and Liberal Democrats parties announced that they would prevent the construction of any third runway or further material expansion of the airport's operating capacity. The Mayor of London, Boris Johnson, has taken the position that London needs more airport capacity, but favours constructing an entirely new airport in the Thames estuary rather than expanding Heathrow. After the Conservative-Liberal Democrat coalition took power, it was announced that the third runway expansion was cancelled. 2 years later, leading Conservatives were reported to have changed their minds. Another proposed plan for expanding Heathrow's capacity is the Heathrow Hub, which aims to extend both runways to a total length of about 7,000 meters and divide them into 4 so that they each provide 2 full-length runways, allowing simultaneous takeoffs and landings while actually decreasing noise levels. In July 2013, the airport submitted 3 new proposals for expansion to the Airports Commission, which was established to review airport capacity in the southeast of England. Each involved the construction of a third runway either to the north, northwest or southwest of the airport. The Commission released its interim report in December 2013, shortlisting the northwest third runway option at Heathrow, extending an existing runway at Heathrow and a second runway at Gatwick Airport. The full report is due to be published in 2015. Following the publication of the interim report, the government confirmed that no options had been ruled out for airport expansion in the southeast, and that a new runway would not be built at Heathrow before 2015. Heathrow Railway Hub, a plan to make Heathrow an international railway exchange, has also been proposed with a potential construction of Heathrow Hub railway station, built on a link to the high-speed 2 railway line. AirTrack. In July 2009, Heathrow Airport Limited submitted an application to the Secretary of State for Transport seeking to gain authorization to develop a new rail link to Heathrow Terminal 5 to be known as Heathrow AirTrack. The rail link would address the current lack of public transport available to the southwest of the airport by connecting to Guildford, Reading and London Waterloo. BAA stated that the scheme should add significantly to its aim of increasing the proportion of people using public transport to travel to the airport. In April 2011, BAA announced that it was abandoning the project, citing the unavailability of government subsidy and other priorities for Heathrow, such as linking to Crossrail and HS2. Heathrow Gatwick Rail Link. In late 2011, the Department for Transport began studying the feasibility of a high-speed rail link between Gatwick and Heathrow Airport. This rail link would form part of a plan to combine the UK's two biggest airports into a collective, or virtual hub dubbed Gatwick. The scheme envisages a 35-mile high-speed rail route linking the two airports in 15 minutes, with trains travelling at a top speed of 180 miles per hour parallel to the M25 and passengers passing through immigration or check-in only once. Heathrow City, there are plans, if Heathrow Airport ever closes, to replace it by a large built-up area. Some of the plans seem to show Terminal 5, or part of it, kept as a shopping centre. See also: Airports of London, List of airports in the United Kingdom, Heathrow Worldwide Distribution Centre, Notes. References. Bibliography: Cotton, Jonathan. Mills, John and Clegg, Gillian. Archaeology in West Middlesex. Uxbridge, London Borough of Hillingdon, ISBN 0-907869-07-6, Gallop, Alon. Time Flies, Heathrow at 60. Stroud, Sutton Publishing, ISBN 0-7509-3840-4, Halpenny, Bruce B. Action Stations Volume 8, Military Airfields of Greater London. ISBN 1-85260-431-X, Sherwood, Philip. The History of Heathrow. Uxbridge, London Borough of Hillingdon, ISBN 0-907869-27-0, Sherwood, Philip. The Villages of Harmondsworth. West Middlesex Family Histories Society, ISBN 0-9511476-25, Sherwood, Philip. Heathrow, 2000 Years of History. Stroud, Sutton Publishing, ISBN 0-7509-2132-3, Sherwood, Philip. Around Heathrow Past and Present. Sutton Publishing, ISBN 0-7509-4135-9, contains many pairs of photographs, old and new, each pair made from the same viewpoint. Sherwood, Philip. Heathrow, 2000 Years of History. Stroud, The History Press, ISBN 978-0-7524-5086-2, Sherwood, Philip. Around Heathrow Through Time. Amberley Publishing, ISBN 978-1-4456-0846-4, Sherwood, Tim. Coming into Land, A Short History of Hounslow, Hanworth and Heston Aerodromes 1911–1946. Heritage Publications, ISBN 1-899144-30-7, Smith, Graham. Taking to the Skies, The Story of British Aviation 1903–1939. Countryside, ISBN 1-85306-815-2, Smith, Ron. British-Built Aircraft Volume 1. Greater London, Tempest, ISBN 0-7524-2770-9, Stuyvesant, Ray. Fanny Ray Aircraft, in Old Photographs. Alan Sutton, ISBN 0-7509-1135-2, Taylor, H. A. Fanny Ray Aircraft since 1915. Putnam, ISBN 0-370-00065-X. Taylor, John W. R. Fanny Ray Aviation, Archive Photographs. Chalford, ISBN 0-7524-0684-1, External links, Official website, Heathrow Airport Consultative Committee, detailed maps of taxiways, stands etc. The building of Heathrow video at the Internet Archive, Heathrow Airwatch Euro information on pollution levels around Heathrow, Longford Residents Association archived copy, concerns to protect schools.